So today on Andrew Palmer Presents, we've got Cinho being interviewed by the very effervescent Eileen Lonergan, it has to be said. Kay is a designer. He's got Layouts Cafe and he does great layouts like Jewel Cafe and Nice Pacino, and there's more to come. But he's also a bit of an expert tutorial guy. And with that in mind, we've got an announcement right at the end of the video to tell you about something that Kay's doing with us at Elegant Marketplace, and we're really pleased and proud to be involved with him. And I think you're all going to end up a little bit like Eileen. She's crushing.
All right, good morning. I am here with Kay, developer extraordinaire on Elegant Marketplace, and welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you too.
Tell me where you are.
I live in the Indian Ocean in an island called Reunion Island. It's actually an island nearby Mauritius.
I've been to Mauritius.
Yeah, well, it's just the sister island, so it's 30 minutes by plane. It's really close.
It's really close. Okay, so how do you know how to be this coder extraordinaire living out in that? I would be distracted by the beauty and the swimming and the fishing, and tell us a little bit about life there.
Well, I wasn't born here. I've been here for four years,
Okay.
well, almost 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And to cut a long story short, I came here a long time ago and I loved it. And I said one day I would move there, and then the years go by and you don't move, you don't do anything, and one day I decided, okay, I'm just going to quit my job and I'm just going to do it. I'll do it. I'm young enough to still try, and if it doesn't work out, I can always do something else. And then it worked out.
And so here you are. So where did you grow up or go to school?
In a few places because of my father's job, we used to move a lot. So I've lived in France, I've lived in Italy, I've lived in the UK, and I also spent about a year in the US also.
You did? Where in the US?
In Houston.
Oh, I love
Houston,
Houston. Giddy up, right?
I loved it there. I love the weather also. It's really, really warm, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So
what languages do you speak?
I've lived in Belgium also.
Oh, you do? Oh my gosh. Okay. So
Yeah.
you've been around town. And so what did you go on holiday?
What do you mean here?
Yeah.
Well, I was actually in a past life, I was working as a flight attendant.
Oh.
So one day one of my colleagues said, yeah, let's go there. I'll show you because I know some people there. So we came here for 4 or 5 days and I just fell in love with the island. So that's how.
Okay. Tell me the name of it one more time.
Reunion Island.
Reunion Island?
Yeah.
All right. They're
famous for hiking and a lot of trails. There was a big one last week.
Oh.
So it's one of the top in the world for hiking and running, So.
Wow. Oh my gosh. All right. That is fantastic. Do you have to send anybody to the Olympics?
Actually, that island belongs, not belongs. It's a part of France. It's just 11,000 kilometers away, but it's a French department.
It's a French department. Got it. That's so cool. Okay. So, you have been a flight attendant. You have been busy packing and moving around the world. And how did you say, all right, you speak all these languages, now I'm going to speak code, or how did that unfold?
Well, when the web started, quite a few years ago, there weren't any course or, now you find lots of courses everywhere, but at that time you had to learn on your own. So I started learning on my own, but at the same time I had to eat and, pay the rent. So I knew what I wanted to do, but I knew the path could be a bit difficult. So I loved everything that had to do with airlines. So I thought, I would like to work in the web department of an airline, but before I can do that, I have to sneak in, I have to get my way in. That's why I got in as a flight attendant. Yeah. Then I moved to IT, and then I moved to the web.
Wow.
So, yeah, working in the web is fun, but you can be, at the time we used to call it a webmaster. Now, if you had the choice to be a webmaster for a pharmaceutical company or for an airline, I'd rather work for an airline.
Yeah.
You get all the benefits. It's
Yeah.
very positive. People, I mean, it's a positive industry, the
Right.
airline industry. So I love the web. I love the airline industry. So mixing the two together was a good compromise.
Was a good compromise. Okay, so you're somewhat new to Elegant Marketplace. What sort of in between was it when you did you say I'm going to go out on my own and build child themes, or do you have clients as well?
Yeah, because there's a gap between the story I was telling and now is that I started working as a freelancer. So I have my own clients and doing the same thing over and over and over again, always working with a new theme each and every time, and was really a pain in the neck. The maintenance was a pain in the neck. So I was really looking for a framework. And what I did is started looking, okay, what's the best WordPress theme that you can use and reuse, and Divi kept, popping up in the list every time. But to be honest, when I first looked at the screenshots of Divi, I was not impressed. I'm a really visual person. I love, minimal design. And what I didn't understand is that they were just showing the basic setup, they didn't show what you could do with it. So I was not impressed. And I remember like a couple of days later, Divi 2.4 was out. And there they had a demo website. And, it only took me like 2 minutes to know, I'm going to work with this. This is so beautiful. I love, full width design. And I also love what the team at Elegant Teams does with the demos. They have some very talented designers. So I was sold. I knew I was going to work with Divi. And ever since, I've just kept on working with it. Like 99% of the websites I do are based on Divi. And at the same time, I wanted to move to something else because I love client work, but at the same time, I love the freedom I have when I create a chat theme or a layout pack.
Mm-hmm.
I really do what I want to do, and it's almost like a hobby. I love it so.
Yeah, I know we're lucky in that way, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. And client work is great. I've had many great clients, but the fact that you always have to somehow hinder your creativity because it has to fit into the project.
Right.
So doing a chat theme or a layout pack and be completely free to do whatever you want is really refreshing.
Yeah. So I chatted with Amanda Sidebotham a couple of weeks ago, and she's Juice Creative. And so she and I were sort of talking about the process of the freedom, and she in her mind creates the client and says, okay, this is my girl, or this is my guy, this is who I'm designing for, this is what I have in mind. Do you do that, or are you a little bit more free form? How do you map it out? Because for a lot of people, open-ended is overwhelming.
Yeah, first I try to choose the clients I want to work with. Mm-hmm. I was not doing that in the beginning because...
Is this in your freelance or your child theme development?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Is this when you try to choose your clients, is it in your freelance work or is it...
Yeah, I was talking about the freelance.
Yeah.
Okay, you were talking about the chat themes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is important. I'm happy to hear. It is a good message for everybody to hear. Choose the clients that you work with because, everybody has a specialty and is drawn towards different things. So you don't have to feel like you have to take every project that sort of floats by.
Exactly. And when you have the right kind of client for the right kind of freelancer, then you have a good project, both ends are happy, and that's how we should go. Okay, we're not in a perfect world, so sometimes you need to take some other projects, because you need also to make some money.
Right.
But at one point, I'm at a point where I'm trying to choose the projects I know would be good for my portfolio, and I will make some money out of it, but I know I can bring something to the client. When I know I can really add value for the client, then it's a good project. Now, for the child themes, Well, I look around, I have some ideas. I have a plan in my head of all the chat teams I want to release for the next 12 months. But sometimes something comes in, a friend will give me an idea, and, you need to listen to people also.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I want something and it does not exist. So I might as well create it,
Right. Or sometimes you see a feature in a website and say, oh, I could build a whole site around that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it would. Yeah, I released a few layouts. Some of them are free, and that's how I get the ideas. I need a CV. Oh, there's no CV layout. Why not create one? And actually, for that one, it was a friend of mine who needed it for a project. So what I also try to do is, if I work on a client project and it's something new, and I'm also thinking, can I turn this into a layout or a chat theme?
Yeah.
So that's my process.
I would love for you to share some of your work with the Elegant Marketplace community. Can we start with, what do you want to start with? Either Nice Pacino or what's your favorite?
My favorite is Dual Cafe, but I love Nice Pacino too.
Okay, let's start with Dual Cafe because I think that one's quite beautiful, and Andrew recently used this for his own project to launch his SEO course sort of signups. So do you want to share your screen and give us the docent tour?
Sure. Okay.
That's a lot of Andrew. No, it's great. I love the little animated arrow.
Yeah, actually, the first time I've used that was in a free layout for a landing page, and I thought it was fun because, many of the clients I have, they want to have, the big sliders, and big sliders can be nice, but it's not always the best way to convert, So I was thinking maybe to have something a bit smaller, but I can move and draw attention,
Yeah. It's just a little something to make the whole thing come alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I love the arrows. That's your touch, right?
Yeah.
That little, it's like so much more elegant than just a flat bar.
Yeah, and actually we'll see it later in the backend, but it's a global element, so you could easily switch it for another one, and then you would change on all the pages of your website.
Oh, cool! I love those global elements. And
yeah, global elements is it's really great. Here's another example with Dual Cafe. It's actually I'm building my own website with Dual Cafe too.
It's beautiful. So you had somebody come and take some photos of you, right?
No, I did it myself. I did it myself. Actually, there was just a white wall behind me, and then I cut the shape with Photoshop, isolated the shape, and put another picture behind with some blurriness.
Wow! Oh my gosh, Kay, that is fantastic.
That's an easy way to to have a good looking website, good looking images.
Right.
You don't need to spend that much money. I mean, if you have the money to pay for a professional photographer, it's better. But if you don't, or if you don't have time, then that's an easy fix.
Right. So the special like little touches with the drop cap.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the paragraphs, and you don't frequently see justified type because it sometimes adds too much spaces, but this is so aesthetically pleasing and easy to read.
Well, thank you, because that was the idea when I first created Dual Cafe. What I wanted to do, I wanted to create a website for authors, that would want to put samples of their work, and it could be laid out a bit like a book. And I like the fact that you could have one big image, on one side, and then the rest you just focus on the text. But then I found out that you can use it for pretty much anything. a consultant website, an artist, you know, if a portfolio for a photographer or
Let
the
me just ask you one quick question about the photos. What kind of camera do you have?
so I have a Nikon D5100 that I bought 5 years ago.
And was it on a tripod?
Yeah, it was on a tripod, and I have a remote. If you don't have a remote, you can always use the timer, but I have a remote.
Right.
It's not that expensive.
No, it's worth the investment.
Yeah, exactly. So for the lighting, I just use the daylight, you know.
Daylight, there you go. Mother Nature.
Exactly. I was close to a window and I waited for the right time of the day to take the pictures. And it came out looking good.
Looking very good. Very good. Okay, I'm keep interrupting. So let's carry on.
No problem. So as I said, I'm using it to build my own website because, okay, I'm a developer, but I consider myself, you might find it funny, but I'm calling myself a digital alchemist because when people ask me, what do you do? Are you a developer? Are you a designer? Actually, I'm a bit of both, you know. Plus, I'm also doing video marketing. I'm doing a lot of stuff digital. So I thought, you know, finding a funny label was a different way to go. And what I want to do with this website, I'm just going to blog about things like that, maybe a bit outside of the Divi scope, but just, for example, how, like we've just discussed, how can you have good looking pictures on your website on a budget? How can you get creative, you know? How to have a coherent brand image. Should you go for a personal brand or should you go for a business brand? That kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's what I'm working on. But all of that, I'm also trying to put it in my work for the Divi layouts and child themes that I sell on Elegant Marketplace.
Right, right. Well, this is beautiful.
That's the original.
So are you on the left-hand side with the bride? Is that a transparent overlay on top of that image?
Well, you could do it in Divi, but because it's really custom coded, I've done it in Photoshop.
Okay.
But you can do it with Divi, but in that case, you know, the behavior was somewhat funny, especially when you go from the desktop version to the tablet or mobile version. So it was easier for me to just do the overlay in Photoshop or any other software.
Yeah.
And I've put this filter for all the pictures on the website, actually. That's also one thing that, here it's a bit washed out, it's a bit different. But basically I spend a lot of time usually working on the pictures because pictures are so important, you know. Just finding the right kind of pictures can take time.
Right.
And it's often overlooked. And then people wonder, but why isn't my website looking as good as XYZ's website? Well, maybe because, you know, you need to spend more time just researching the right images and, you know, the color tones. But once you get it, then it's very easy. Even if you don't have Photoshop, there are free tools like Pixlr Editor online. And, you know, it's once you have the correct overlay for your website, then you just have to stick a picture under the overlay, save it. It doesn't take that long, actually.
Yeah,
it makes a difference.
Right, I agree. I love this timeline.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's actually I took it from one of my other projects, which was for a CV resume.
Oh, right.
And I thought, it could be fun. I mean, here the example is a wedding website. So I thought, it can be fun that people can just show the timeline of how they met and how things have been going, you know, the big milestones in the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for a consultant, you could have the same timeline and just lay out your big projects.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great for personal branding. Our favorite song, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I can play this. Yeah.
That's great. Are there any other special pages on here we should see?
I'm just going to open the modules page. So
Oh,
basically the
good.
module page shows almost everything. There's more than 20 style modules. So
Wow.
I put it all in one page. So it's easy for you to see, okay, is there something for me in there?
Right. Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah, and then it's easy when you just want to create a new page. You can just open the modules page and just copy a block
Right.
and paste it in your new page.
That's great. I haven't seen that yet. That's really good.
Thanks. Yeah, a lot of
I appreciate your testimonials, how they're one's one color and one's the other color, because sometimes if everything's all in the same color, it's a little either dull or overwhelming. This looks great.
yeah. It's also the idea was to show, yeah, you can, okay, I give you this pack with the colors, but you can also be creative.
Mhm.
It's very easy to change the main color and to really match your brand identity.
Right.
I think we are almost at the end. The blog, yeah, the pricing tables also.
Yeah.
The portfolio.
The portfolio is great. I feel like sometimes it's a little underutilized by the community. But certainly used properly, it's like lights out in terms of showcasing your work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great tool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Should we take a little behind the scenes tour?
Yeah, sure.
Behind the velvet ropes. So I am a pink girl, as you can tell. I'm wearing pink. What if somebody said I don't want pink? Or am I jumping ahead too much?
Oh, no, actually, we'll discuss it here, but I've released a long video. I think it's a 1 hour and 20 minutes course, complete course that I've released for free, and it's on Elegant Marketplace, where I really go through building a fictional website. So it's all explained in there, but we can have a look at it now. So basically, we would go in the theme customizer. But this is the live demo, so I won't save anything.
Yeah, don't save anything.
But so it depends what you want to change. If it's just some of the modules here, we go straight into the page. But if you want to change like the color of the icon, the color of the overlay, then we would go here in the sliding full screen and we would change.
There you go.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's very easy. And even if you don't know your way around too much in the Divi customizer, all you have to do is just go through the different settings, and every time you notice the pink color. So I'm trying to look for it. Of course, I don't find it now.
Well, no, that's okay. I think it was in the typography, maybe.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
people get it. I mean, that's not complicated. It's just like, don't get hung up on pink, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Even though pink to me is the big attraction, but just to somebody else, I get that. So you show us, like, are there any special plugins or pages or layout within here that you want to share?
So I'm going to show some of my process. What I recommend is that even with Divi 3, because it's the big hype and we all want to work in the front end editor. But what I recommend doing is always work on the structure in the back end. And once you have the structure, then you can go in the front end. So let me open the modules page, because basically the modules page is the page that we saw with all the different modules.
Oh, this is fantastic.
So it's labeled, so it's very easy to know what you want. There's always a pattern, so we can create a new page and test it. So let's call it new page.
All right, because we're feeling crazy this morning.
Exactly. So I will load from the library, add from the library, and I've created a page template.
Okay.
So, okay, so we have our page template, and we can have a look so that you can see what the basic template is. Okay, so H1 title, the H2 subtitle, the arrow, the divider,
Yep.
then some text. And let's look at one of the modules. Yeah, let's say I want the accordion on that page.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back in the back end. I'm going to my modules page, and I will look for the accordion. Now it's very long, so okay,
Right.
right
Yeah.
here. But if you're looking for it, you can just do Command F or Control F, and just type accordion, and then it's right here.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to copy, and then I go back to my new page, and I'm going to paste it after the title. Okay. Now I'm going to hit preview. And there you go.
And there we go.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for showing us the right-click copy and paste, because I think a lot of people don't always know about that right-click.
Yeah, it's very, very handy.
It's very handy. So that's a great tip. Thank you. So that could not be any easier.
Yeah, it's really laid out for you. You have all the different modules, 20 if I'm correct, that have been styled, and as you saw, it's all labeled.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, the green color is the global elements. So if you open the custom divider, that's
The arrow.
yeah, that's the arrow. So if you change it here once, it will change on all your website.
Right. It's beautiful.
Now it's as I explained in the course, the logo part. The logo that you see on this page is not the logo that you usually add in the theme options.
Oh, all right. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, so let's go into mobile mode. Okay, so that's the logo from the theme options.
Okay.
So it's a dark color on white.
Yeah.
Now if I go back to full screen, you see it's white color on a picture. So it's not the same logo.
Right.
And what I did is the logo, you change it here.
Got it.
So you just change it here, and that's the logo that you see on the desktop version or tablet in landscape mode.
Okay.
And the one that we find in theme options will appear on the mobile version. So this one here.
Okay. Great.
But it's all explained. It's all explained in the course and also in the documentation, because the documentation is all video. So there's a video for each step.
Right. Right. That's awesome. I love this. I'm like speechless, because I have a client I'm thinking I need to use this for. It's just so cool.
Good.
Is there any special plugins that we need to know or talk about?
I'm not using any specific plugin for this one. See,
Oh yeah, this is really
the only plugin you need to install is if you want to install the demo, you want to replicate the demo.
right.
I've included a one-click installer, and it's a plugin. But yeah, I use Jetpack. And why do I use Jetpack? Is because I don't know if it's only me, but I've noticed that in some of my DV websites, some of the pictures come blurry. I don't know why, so I thought it was maybe my web host, but I've tried on a couple of different web hosts, and I had the same problem. What I found was that when I installed Jetpack, the images are served from the Jetpack CDN, and somehow the images look better. So
Yeah, that's cool. I like Jetpack. I think it's a bad route, but there's definitely features in Jetpack that I enjoy.
yeah, it's I love it as long as you don't activate everything.
Yeah.
Because personally, I've had issues with the brute force protect app. It was acting a bit funny, but apart from that, it's working great.
Yeah, good, good. Okay, lights out. This is great. Should we roll over into nice Pacino?
Yeah, sure.
These are great names.
Thanks. Yeah, obviously I use the same theme around the cafe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And because first I was trying to figure out how I'm going to name my child themes, my layouts, and the courses, you know. If you name it course 01, 02, it doesn't, you know, it's not I don't know how to put it, but yeah, I wanted to have something a bit original.
Right, right. Well, the dual cafe in a little bit of a way feels a little misleading because you think food, but it's clearly not.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be,
Yeah.
but it has so many other applications. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also trying to develop the Layouts Cafe brand, which is well, my brand basically. Yeah. And what I would like is after some time people know that when they see that little sign, you know, above the E,
yeah.
Oh, it's from Layouts Cafe, and all the names, you know, are related to coffee.
Yeah.
But it takes time to build.
It does take time. It does take time. But if you don't start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is great. I love your fonts. Absolutely. I am crazy about the green.
Thanks.
And I'm sure that's equally, if somebody else wants orange or purple, they can probably
Yeah.
it out. I really, really appreciate your use of white space. I think in web design, it becomes, people sometimes forget, and I could tell like your nod to, you know, the book layout and sort of it feels very magazine editorial to me.
Yeah, I really think that white space is an essential component of design. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not just an option for me; it's really part of it. It must be there. You know, your website has to breathe. Even if there's a lot of information, you must make it like people feel that it's really readable, and you know, it's easy on the eye. Even if you use bright colors, but the way you lay out things and the white space is very important. Yeah. And you were talking about the fonts. The font also is often overlooked, and it's crucial. You know, trying to look for the correct font for the correct project. As we discussed previously with the images, it takes a bit of time, but you know, it makes a difference at the end. So.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. And it's sort of my pet peeve, and I talk about it constantly, so people are probably sick of it. But when people just don't change the default font, like if you're only going to do one little tweak of customization, get rid of that Divi default font, you know?
It makes a difference right away.
Yeah. So I love gutterless images. That's one of my favorite looks.
This one, yeah.
I like on the up above, the section above where you have the three.
This one?
Yeah. So this is quite beautiful because you have the most subtle line in between. Yeah. And how did you manage that?
That's custom CSS. But it's really not complicated. It's a border, basically. It's a right border. But what I love with Divi, you know, is that what I used to do, I used to create my mock-ups in Photoshop. And I know that some people say it's bad to work in the right away in the browser, and I kind of get that. But I think that when you have enough experience and you actually know what you're going to do, a tool like Divi for prototyping is really great because you can test right away and see how it looks in mobile, and you know, you cut your prototyping time by 5 or 6 times, you know. Yeah. So I was really trying out in the browser because I knew what I wanted. As I said, I'm a very visual person, so most of the time I already have a picture in my head of what I want. Right. And in that case, I can work in the browser. Yeah. If you don't have that picture, then it's better to work the regular way. But if you know what you want to do, what you want to achieve, then Divi is really great for.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I just recently over the summer, I guess, worked on a really big project, and there was a designer who was coming up with all of the wireframes, and he was awesome, and I can't wait to work with him again. But literally, we worked together because he would say, you know, how about this? Can we make it work? And we, you know, well, how it will look on a phone. And so we went through the process. Like he didn't really know Divi, and you know, so it was a really good collaborative. But if you're doing it by yourself, yeah, I'm all about browser development. It's fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah, wow, it really helps me.
Yeah, I agree.
If I was just starting out, I wouldn't do it because you know you need to know the basics. When you have a bit more experience, you don't need 10 years of experience, but when you have a bit more experience, then I think it's fine for some projects to really start in the browser.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm good with that.
Yes, I'm showing you some of the sections.
Old CTA, I like that. Another one.
Yeah, as you've seen, I like to take the whole space of the screen.
Yeah.
Because many of the designs we see today are based on the 960 grid. Not on Divi, but if you look at outside of Divi, there are still many websites that, you know, are really narrow. And historically, it was because the screen resolutions were 1024 pixels, you know. But I think that now we can really use the screen real estate.
Yeah.
It's maybe not for all type of websites. Sometimes it can be tricky because it depends what kind of content you have. But for that kind of websites, where you want to get a bit creative, I like to use the full width of the screen. Even if, like we see here on screen, that I have a meet the team section, so staff section. The first one takes the full width, and I also put an alternative if you want to.
That was really thoughtful of you. Yeah.
But at the same time, the background is you know, is taking the whole width, so there's consistency throughout the design.
Right. But it's nice to have options, and then you have and if somebody wanted to, they could use the customer section for their meet the team as well, the one not below it.
Yeah, okay. This one, yeah.
Yeah. Some people love those round, or could you go down? I'm talking about the next section below.
Okay.
Sometimes people love using the round images.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, when you design a chat theme or a layout spec, you need to be subjective at one point, and you know, you need to make decisions. And that's what takes most time, because for this section, I was thinking, do I go with square images, round images? What do I do? So that's where I spend a lot of time. But at one point, you have to make a decision. But the Divi community knows, you know, that in Divi you can do pretty much anything you want. So it's pretty easy to change it. And by the way, I love the Facebook group.
Oh, I know.
So much information in there, and people don't realize that it's a lot of value for free, actually. So
thank you for saying that. It is a lot of value. People are so generous with their time, and you know, even if you put forward, you know, sometimes people say, you know, I'm afraid to ask a question. It's like, well, then don't start with your question. Start with sharing. Start with something you've figured out or something you've learned. I mean, I know I have a question. I need to put it in there. Like, help me out, peeps, right? You know, you guys are the smartest people around. And sometimes people say there's too much non-Divi, but like this community is so great, full of all kinds of information, you know?
Yeah, it's really, you know, it feels good to know you're starting a project and you have a few thousand people that can help out, and maybe tomorrow you're going to help them.
Right.
You know, it's not just one way, but it's great knowing that you can confidently start a project, and, you know, you have a backup, someone backing you up, and
Yeah,
not
I
someone,
know.
but a few thousand people.
Right, right. Yesterday I was speaking up in Boston at a WordPress meetup, and a woman said, "What are the pros and cons of Divi?" And I said, truthfully, the number one pro is the community, because you're going to get stuck. And it doesn't matter what theme, you're going to get stuck, but this community is so helpful, and they'll be able to dig you out. Now let me tell you all the other pros.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go back to your theme, because I just love it.
Thanks. Okay, the next section is the pricing tables.
Right?
So it's classic, but still trying to to use that bold design. So really the idea behind Espuccino is you want things to be bold, and so I wanted to replicate that in the pricing tables.
And Kay, you're so wonderful with your design, because it's really not in the pricing table, I mean everywhere, but in the pricing table, if you just see how, you use the dark anchor on either side and then the pop of color in the middle, and then you alternate with the call to action buttons. So many times I see this pricing model, which everything's the same color.
Yeah, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having, one section stand out. You want people to, we know how people look at a screen, where they look. So you have to, with the heat maps. So
Right.
you have to find a way to direct the eye of the viewer.
Yeah.
You have to play with the color. And once again, prototyping really helped, because I've tried, I don't know how many combinations, and if I had to do that in Photoshop and then test it, it would have taken me.
Yeah. So this is great.
Okay, then we have a Google map. I often use black and white on the Google Maps in my themes and my websites.
Yeah.
Because actually on most of the designs I do, I like to work with a limited set of colors, but that's a choice. I'm not saying it's the best choice. It's just my style. And I often found the Google Map distracting with so many colors. But that's just me.
Right.
But it's a setting that you can easily change. It's just one knob in the DB settings.
Yeah. And you put that pin exactly where I want to live.
Okay.
So thank you.
Maybe it's a prophecy, you never know.
Exactly. You heard it here first, people. There we go. And then
Yeah, I've been once in New York, and I remember Fifth Avenue, and that's why I've put it.
yeah, right? Like where better? Maybe some places in London, or your island. That's not bad.
Yeah. True.
Very true. All right, let's talk about this contact form, because it's so much prettier than the default one that we all use, set and forget.
Yeah, it's very simple actually. Just basically just removing the border around the fields and adding a bottom border.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I made tests with the colors so that it's subtle, but you can still see it.
Yeah. And I love the submit. Sometimes people they change the colors, but they don't really change it well enough on the submit button, and then you can't figure out where to put your inquiry. The whole point is submit. So this is great. I love it. I think it's beautiful.
Thanks. As I said, made with love. I loved working on that layout.
Yeah. It's
what's difficult is that if people see it in the marketplace, for example,
mm-hmm.
It might be hard for them to relate and say, yeah, I want to do a one-page layout, but okay, I don't want those colors and I don't need pictures. But the idea is that I try to put as much modules as I can on the page to show you what you can do with it. But you can do pretty much anything. I've had some of my friends use it for real estate. With the gallery. Yeah, it's I've had a fitness coach also use it.
Oh, nice.
Once you change the main picture, because here the the main color is a bit dark so that the green can stand out.
Yeah.
But I've also released a course, and the course I think is also on the Elegant Marketplace, and it's free. So, and in the course, I really show you also how you can quickly change a completely different color palette, you know, in the picture, and then you can have an idea of how easy it is to have something completely different.
Right. Right.
Okay, and I've added some icons in the social icons here in the navigation.
Which is great. People need those.
Yeah, hopefully one day it will be part of the options, because for the moment you can do it, but in the upper bar, and you don't have much control.
Right. I know. It's yeah. I'm surprised that hasn't. I use Booster a lot to.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different options out there. Is there anything here on the back end that we should see?
Let's go and quickly have a look. But here it's only one page.
Okay. Yeah.
So loading. Okay, so here all the sections are named, but there's nothing special really. You can load the layouts also from the library. I think most of the.
But it's great. It's very user friendly, and your documentation and communication is really, really strong.
Yeah, because I was sometimes when I used to buy, because I used to buy my themes on Theme Forest, like many people do. Ever since I worked with Divi, I bought maybe one. But I was always frustrated that in the documentation, it would show me basic stuff, but even though I know what I do and I've worked in the web for a lot of time, but some of the documentation is really, really a pain in the neck. So I'm trying to make it better. It's not perfect, but I'm trying to make it, you know, how I would like it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I think you do a very good job. All right.
Thanks.
Is there anything, well, what's next?
So next I'm working on Mocha Corporate. So basically it's a business chatting. So if you want something more corporate, this is why it's called Mocha Corporate. And it's almost finished. And then I have Fashion Latte, which is more of a black and white type of website, but of course you could change the colors. But basically it's more directed towards photographers, artists. It's also magazine style, but yeah, photography, videography. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
then I have a few others in the back of my mind.
I'm sure percolating back there, up there, I should say. Anything about you that we didn't talk about?
Video.
Video. Talk about it.
I've launched my YouTube channel, and where I put the courses, but I also want to discuss about general topics in Divi, and I'm trying to use videos more and more in the documentation, in the courses, and I actually quite enjoy doing it. I knew nothing about video a few months ago.
Yeah.
Now I'm really into it because it's well, I don't have to tell you how important video is nowadays, but I can really feel it. You know, it's easier to connect. It's also easier for, well, some people would prefer text, and I completely understand that. But sometimes it's very easy when you don't know something and you want to see kind of behind the scenes, just like we did, you know.
Right.
And what I do in my videos is that my image is inside the picture. So basically I show what I do on screen, but you see my image, seamless background, because what I want is people to feel like they have a coach close to them, you know. I saw that on YouTube on some I think it was Dotto Tech. It's a channel where Steve Dotto just shows how to use some software, and I really liked it because I felt like I could connect more with him. I really felt like I had someone next to me showing me how to do things.
Yeah.
And I decided to use that style also. I think it's quite relevant when you want to learn something. Usually if you take the way it was before the internet, you'd be in a class with someone talking to you.
Right.
See the expression, and you connect to the person. Now with technology, okay, it's great. You can do screencasting, but I wanted to have some of that original, feeling of connecting with someone teaching you something.
Yeah.
And some people may like it, some people may not like it, but that's my style, and personally, I think it's a good way to connect.
I think you're right, and you're good at it. So why not? All right. So you are on island. I am near water, but not on an island. So what are you going to do today?
Okay, today. So now it's 7 p.m. here. So I'm probably just gonna work. I'm gonna keep on working on Mocha Corporate. But what I've done today, I went on the other side of the island to have a dinner because it's a bank holiday today.
Oh, okay.
So I went to have a dinner, and the time was beautiful.
Yeah. So how big is the island?
It's quite small actually. It's less than 1 million inhabitants.
Yeah.
I think 900,000. So it's small, but to me it feels like there's everything I like is here. You have the beach, the mountain. The mountain is really impressive. There's a volcano, active volcano. So
okay, be careful.
So, yeah. And then there are some parts of the island you can only reach by foot or helicopter.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's one of the places called Mafat, and it's just beautiful. Well, if you go there walking, you better sleep there because doing that in one day is a bit tough. And it's so beautiful there. And of course, there's no cars. There's many cars on the island, but if you go to that specific place I was talking about, there's no cars there. So it's either by foot or helicopter.
Sounds right up my alley. So as soon as I get my Fifth Avenue apartment,
yeah,
look for me. I'll let you know.
No problem.
For dinner.
You're welcome, but just be aware that if you come here, you might not want to go back.
I may not want to go. All right, I have to bring the husband and the children along. I'm sure they'd be down for it. No problem. All right, exactly. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me after you went out to dinner. It's hard to get back to your desk sometimes, so I appreciate you accommodating my East Coast schedule. And
it was a pleasure.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing them and giving us the tour. And I can't wait to see, hopefully in the comments, people will leave links to the sites that they've created so we can all see what people have come up with. It's rewarding for you, I'm sure.
I love to see that, Yeah. I'm always thrilled when I see what people come up with, they come with creative ways, stuff I didn't think about.
Right.
I just love it.
Yeah, right. So far we have Andrew's site to share. We have to see who else is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, there we go. That's great. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, Andrew, this is lights out. It's really good. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate getting to know you and seeing your work, and I can't wait to see what else is down the pike.
Thanks, and thanks for having me, and it was a pleasure, really a pleasure for me.
Thank you.
So how good was that? Are you crushing? I think most of us are. Kay's just great, isn't he? So, deep dive into Divi 3 is coming soon with Kay Cinho in association with Elegant Marketplace. So it's going to be on our learning platform exclusively. Cannot tell you how pleased we are that Kay's doing it. He's a brilliant tutorial guy. And also, for your reward of listening to this video, you get a 20% discount for the week that this post is put up. So don't forget, you've got 7 days to get into all of Kay's work at 20% discount. I really encourage you to do it. They're great charm themes, so easy to use. So once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.